Good morning, guys. It's actually a pretty good morning today because right in front of me I have the new 2024 Ford Ranger, and Ford has finally come to their senses. They're bringing the Raptor to the US. I never understood why they never brought the previous generation Raptor to the US, but they're doing it now, and it looks absolutely fantastic. But the thing is, it's not only good looking, the powertrains are pretty amazing here as well, and we have a larger overall truck in the new Ranger. So let's jump in here and let's have a look at this article first with the spec and tech, because there's so much new stuff that we need to cover before we jump into the beautiful design. I'm going to compare the new Raptor to the old Ranger Raptor and see what's changed there in the front, side, rear, and also, of course, the interior. So let's have a look at this article from Car and Driver about the 2024 Ford Ranger. It grows in width, interior quality, engine choices, and storage space, and it costs. That's maybe the big downside here, is that the Ranger Raptor cost $58,555, but it also has a 405 horsepower twin-turbo 3-liter V6, 33-inch tires, and similar hardware as the Bronco Raptor. So it's, to me, I don't know if that's a bad deal, because truck prices have been going steadily upwards now. So this feels like it's right there in what a new performance truck would cost today, even though it's not a full-size truck. Both trucks are assembled in Michigan and will be available near the end of summer of this year. So Ford went the route here that a lot of manufacturers do these days. It's just to skip the different bed sizes and the cab sizes, and they're only available with a 4-door crew cab and a 5-foot bed. Totally fine for me, because that would be the one that I would pick, and I think the majority of people as well would choose. It also has upgraded version of the Ford T6 platform that also underpins the Bronco. The wheelbase is grown by 1.9 inches. The front wheels have basically moved closer to the front bumper, reducing the overhang and improving the approach angle in the front. So the pricing here for the entry-level XL is $35,755, and it keeps the 2.3-liter inline 4 with 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, which I think sounds pretty good for this size of truck in the base model. And the Lariat offered the twin-turbo 2.7-liter V6 from the Bronco and the F-150. And in those, I think they make 330 horsepower, but in the Ranger, they detuned it to 315 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. And the transmission is still the 10-speed automatic. You have 2- and 4-wheel drive systems available, but the latter doesn't come with a locking rear differential, which I think you want if you plan on taking this Ranger off-road. Now, looking at the interior, you have a much improved interior. I think that was the big reason why they really needed to upgrade the Ranger generally, was just the interior. The size of the base center screen has increased from 8 inches to 10.1 inches, and a large vertical-oriented 12.4-inch screen is available. You also have the instrument cluster now being digital. You can have it at either 8 inches like the Bronco or 12.4 inches, and here you can see the 12.4. We're going to have a look at this in just a minute in more detail compared to the old one. You also have available 360-degree exterior camera, over-the-air updates, wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You have wireless charging as well. Some pretty cool features in when it comes to the technology of the new Ranger. And looking at the Ranger Raptor here, I really like this design of the new Raptor. We're going to go into more detail in just a second as well. It employs a slightly less powerful version of the twin-turbo 3-liter V6 that you find in the Bronco at 405 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque in this relatively small pickup truck. I think that's a good combination with the 10-speed automatic transmission and a 4-wheel drive system that features locking front and rear differentials, as well as a lower range. So when it comes to the technology and the drivetrain, everything is there as you want in a Ford Ranger Raptor. But instead of the 37-inch tires, which would look pretty ridiculous on a Ranger Raptor, we have the 33-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain KO3s with 17-inch wheels that you can have with this beadlock ring if you want from Ford accessory department. Wheels and tire combo increase track width by 3.5 inches, and the fenders swell overall width by 4.3 inches. So this looks so much better than the regular Raptor, the regular Ranger, with these beefier fenders that we have. What I like about the Raptor here is that they switched the leaf springs in the back that you have on the regular Ranger, and instead put in some adaptive Fox dampers and coilovers in the back. You also have adaptive Fox live valve dampers size 2.5 inches in the front. And last but not least, the pricing that we talked about is close to $60,000, but it's more expensive than the Gladiator Mojave and the Colorado ZR2. However, none of those have 400 horsepower, so that's the main argument there. So let's have a look at this design. First of all, let's have some let's do a designer appreciation moment here and just have a look at these gorgeous sketches from the Ford design team. Absolutely stunning. I love how expressive these are. So have a look at the front end here and this type of sketch. Very expressive with the movement and the blur factor of the wheels looking like it's jumping off the ground here. I love the front end design. We're going to have a look at that more when we go in and look at the real thing. I just wanted to show you these sketches because as a designer myself, I really appreciate when designers put in some effort in making these sketches really sell the product. So here you can see we have a sort of sunset in the back, which creates this warm tone, and then in contrast with the darker cold tone in the front end creates a nice dynamic of this sketch. And these look like they could be 37-inch wheels, but as you know, the Ranger Raptor comes with 33-inch wheels. But when you're sketching like this, you want to emphasize wheels a little extra just to sell the design. Look at all these beautiful chamfers that we have in the rear end. For example, the chamfers going around the taillight, just a stunning sketch as well. And here it looks like they put some more normal sized wheels and tires on this sketch compared to this one. And we have some detail sketches of the taillights here. So here you can see the thought behind the design of the taillights, which I think is always interesting to see how the designers think when they design details like this. So we have the tail stop turn indicator right here, reverse light in the middle, and a reflex, just a static reflex down at the bottom, and you have the fog lights, which I think is maybe down here, or it could be this one, I'm not 100% sure. Very nice design. We also have a nice chamfer going around and housing the internal pieces of the taillight. Beautifully done. Same thing with the headlight here. You can see the assembly, all the details with the main two LED big headlights right here in the middle, and the daytime running lights going around here. I love that we have this little thicker piece in the daytime running lights, adding some dynamics to that design. And also the interior, beautifully sketched out, these seats and the positioning of everything. And here you can see the 12.4 inch screen that we have in the center, and the gauge cluster as well. Very nice sketches by the Ford design team. Now let's go in and have a look at the real thing here, compare it with the previous, or the, I would say current, I guess, generation Ford Ranger Raptor. As I said, I'm not sure why Ford never brought this beauty into the States, because it would make sense to me. The Ranger was selling pretty well. People want a performance machine of this. This was selling really well in the UK, for example, and I guess other markets as well. But they never brought it over here. And I was actually interested in the Ford Ranger Raptor when I was shopping for a truck. But since it wasn't available here, I went with the Ram Rebel instead. I know that's a size up. I actually like the size of the Rebel. Probably a little bit better because of the tent and everything you have on it, but this would still probably would have gone with a Ranger Raptor if it was available here when I was shopping for a truck. The new one looks already a little big. It is bigger, but it feels like a bigger design and proportions than the old one, even though they're just slightly bigger than the old one. What I liked about the previous one is the slim headlights that we have here. And we have some LED daytime running lights. You can see the angle of the front end sloping backwards like this. And I think this is what carves out some volume of this design. And then we have a proper skid plate down at the bottom in silver, which I think is nice contrasted to the bumper. And look at the new one and the front fascia and the design of this thing, just how much more upright this front fascia is. I feel like this is a lot more confident than the previous generation, having this wall in the front end. And I also love that they put in the Ford logo or the letters right in the grille like we had in the previous one. Typical Raptor style, and also beautiful sculpting of the hood up here. Very simplistic design. Here you can see the daytime run lights that I love with this design is that they added this little thicker piece right here at the end, and what this does, it just creates some more weight in that area, and that creates more dynamic feeling. It feels like it actually has almost a movement to it, this thing, instead of having it be the same exact thickness going all around the C shape. And you can see the big LED headlights, two of them right here. I love the texture that we have in the grille here as well, beautiful. And we have the same kind of treatment like we have in the previous one with the skid plate, looking a little different in the new one, but pretty much similar style with the silver color, or in contrasting to the rugged bumper that we have here, and we have the fog lights down at the bottom. It's a beautiful truck to me. So let's have a look at the side view here. And this is where I get a little bit confused, because it doesn't look like a lot of pieces in the side view are actually new here. It looks more like a facelift, because have a look at the lines of the previous generation right here up top. We have these lines in the bodywork and in the greenhouse as well, with this little upswing in the end point of the greenhouse at the lower part. And we have the same line, exact same line. So I think the doors and the greenhouse is the exact same as the previous generation, and also the bed looks to be pretty much exactly the same, with some changes for the rear end to house these new designs of the taillights. But here you can see the bead lock capable tire wheels and tires. You have 17-inch wheels right here with a 33-inch tire around it, looking very nice. I think 33s is the way to go here. I wouldn't upgrade this to 35s. I think the 33s is actually perfect size proportionally for this design. You can see the greenhouse here, and the lines in the greenhouse also very similar to the previous generation, and that's why I think I can't really see any differences in the greenhouse. Even the door cut line is in the exact same space, and this chamfer here at the back, you can see there's this tiny chamfer here. We have the same tiny chamfer in the previous generation, which is all good. I don't care if they use the same greenhouse and bed and front fender. It doesn't matter to me, because it still looks like a proper good looking truck with the proportions here. Comparing the greenhouse to the rest of the body, the greenhouse looks pretty small and tight. It looks sporty, this truck, and I love that about the Ranger Raptor. Let's have a look at the rear end before we jump into the interior. So here you can see this graphics on the old one, which I absolutely love. It looks really cool. I would want to have some sort of graphic like this on the new one as well. But you can see the new taillights. Here are the old ones with a nice chamfer going around it like this. And we have them shrunken down just a little bit on the new one. And also, of course, we need to, if you're gonna have a 2024 model, we need to have LEDs in the taillights, and that's exactly what's going on in the new one. Love that we have the bazooka tailpipes, twin pipes on each side, symmetrical, shooting out the exhaust and pushing this truck forward. That's exactly what I want to see in a performance truck like this. And we have some nice chamfers in the back end as well that we don't have in the previous generation. Tailgate here is definitely new for the 2024 model year. Last but not least, let's quickly have a look at this interior and see what's going on here. So you can see that this desperately needed an upgrade. This is what dated the old Ranger. This, in combination with the lack of LED lighting, is what dated the old design, in my opinion. So I'm glad that they updated it, but everything seems to be in the same position. We also have the same housing still intact. Thank you, Ford, for keeping this housing for the gauge cluster. It's now all digital. Here we have the 12.3-inch infotainment screen looking beautiful with this red Raptor trim around the vents. And we have some physical dials and knobs for the climate control. How hard is it to keep this type of layout in an interior? This looks so much better than the big screens that we have going across the entire dash on a lot of cars these days. Steering wheel is another detail that is new for the 2024 model. I love that it still have this red line up top to know exactly where the center is, and you have the red lettering for the Raptor in the lower part of the steering wheel. Very nice job, Ford, and I can't wait to see this out on the streets. I think this is going to be a very, very popular truck here in the US.